Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we're taking a look at McDonald's breakfast items. Now I'm a huge breakfast fan, it's my favorite meal. A lot of my favorite foods are breakfast foods. But today we're going to be looking at just McDonald's breakfast items, and I'm going to be ranking these just based on, how good are they, how much do I enjoy eating them. And an S here, important to note, is just going to be an S for McDonald's items. I'm not going to be comparing it to other breakfast items or other breakfast foods because, well, I like McDonald's breakfast, but to be honest, if I was comparing it to, real breakfast food, it'd probably only be B tier at best. But just looking at it in context of McDonald's, some of these I think are pretty good. And speaking of S tier, we're starting off with the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Honestly, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits in general, if they're like homemade, are probably my favorite breakfast food to eat, honestly. And the McDonald's, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits are pretty good. Definitely not bad. I mean, the bacon is, it's your typical fast food bacon. It's not going to be a nice, super crispy, juicy piece of bacon. It's kind of like the super thin, fake bacon. But honestly, it's still good. For breakfast, if I'm in a rush, stop by McDonald's, get, 2 or 3 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. It's a pretty good breakfast for me. My biggest complaint about the McDonald's biscuits is they are very, very crumbly. So if you're like eating them in your car, I wouldn't even eat it in my car, honestly, because you're gonna get crumbs all over the floor and the seats. But honestly, if you can sit down and actually have a plate to eat it, I think it's pretty good. And for me, it's gonna find itself in the S tier. Honestly, just a good sandwich, one of my favorite breakfast sandwiches to have. So gonna find itself up there. Up next, we have the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. So pretty much same thing as the one before, but this time you have sausage instead of bacon. And honestly, this is one that I'll sometimes go for if I'm not really feeling the bacon, or if I am kind of upset about how much they skimped me on the bacon last time. But, McDonald's sausage, it's not super impressive. Flavor-wise, it's certainly not bad. Texture-wise, it's fine. But, not really going to blow me away. And, once again, it's good, but I slightly prefer the bacon over the sausage, so it'll still find itself up in a respectable A tier. Up next, we have the sausage biscuit. Now, I don't really know who gets this one, but unless you maybe don't like eggs, but for me, there's just not enough going on here. Like, I've had these before when they've been like handing them out for free, like an event or something, but a sausage biscuit, it's just not enough there. I love eggs. Eggs are one of my favorite breakfast foods, so I'm always going to throw that on a sandwich if I get the opportunity. And taking that off, I'm like, why? It should be on there. It's still good. I'm still going to eat it if you hand me one, but the fact that there's no eggs or really nothing else on there, it's just sausage and bread, really. So I would say it's relatively lackluster, but, still going to eat it if you hand it to me, but it will find itself down in the D tier. Up next, we're up to the McGriddles. And we have the bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle. Honestly, pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna like McGriddles the first time I had them because it's basically like a pancake bun essentially, and it's got like the maple syrup flavor in there. And I was like, I don't really like syrup with my bacon or eggs. Am I really gonna like it? But to be honest, I think the McGriddles are pretty good. If I'm in the mood for something a little bit sweeter, maybe I'll go for a McGriddle. I would say it's still pretty solid. Don't like it quite as much as the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, but bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle is still really respectable, and it's going to find itself up in a solid A tier. Up next, we have the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle. Pretty similar, honestly, still pretty good. I would say I actually probably go for the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle more often than I go for the bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle. The sweetness from like the maple, pancake bun and the sausage just really goes really well together. I'm not somebody who likes to dip my sausages in syrup like my dad, but I think that it works pretty well together here. And honestly, this one, I would say it's my favorite McGriddle. If I'm not going for a biscuit, or I don't want to have something super messy, I'll usually go for a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle, and it's actually going to find itself up in the S tier. Up next, we have the sausage McGriddle. Pretty similar story here from the bacon, egg, or the sausage biscuit, that is. It's just not enough going on here. I would say it's slightly better than the sausage biscuit because, like I said, the maple bun and the sausage go pretty well together, but still, it's not enough there for me, and it is also going to find itself down in the D tier. Up next, we're up to the McMuffins, which of course, the buns are basically English muffins, and I would say these are pretty good. If you were to tell me that you were going to replace my McGriddle or my biscuit with, an English muffin bun, I would be okay with it. You know, it's not the best, but it's certainly, you know, not going to bother me too much. I like the Egg McMuffin, but I'm somebody who likes either bacon or sausage rather than ham. So ham, I mean, I like ham here or there, but I'm actually not a huge fan of ham on my breakfast items. So the Egg McMuffin gonna find itself down in the C tier. Up next, we have the sausage and egg McMuffin. This one I would say is pretty good, honestly. I think the McMuffin bun, like I said, you know, it's definitely serviceable. The egg on this is pretty good. You know, it's kind of like the fried egg rather than the scrambled egg of the other ones. And I would say that the fried egg variant on the egg McMuffin is actually, or the sausage egg McMuffin is actually a little better sometimes, depending on the location I found, which you wouldn't think. You'd think it'd be exactly the same, but I would say this one is pretty good, and it's actually going to find itself up in the A tier as well. Up next, we have the sausage McMuffin. You guys already know where this one's going. D tier. Again, bun is fine, but it's just not enough there. There's got to be more than just the sausage and the cheese. You know, you got to have something else there. You got to have the eggs. If I'm going for a breakfast item, I'm almost always going for eggs. So, got to throw that on there if you want to be higher up. Up next, we have the bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. And I've had this one a couple times. But to be honest, not really impressed. I love bagels. I think bagels are great, but I don't think they make a super good sandwich. And I think at McDonald's, it's even less so, because the bagels that I've had at McDonald's are usually just like, I don't know, like too spongy, you know, it's like too much, it's like too hard to chew, you know, it's like, my bun should be easy to bite into and, you know, chew and digest. The bun, it's like I'm like tearing at the bagel, like trying to rip it apart. So honestly, not really that impressed. I think flavor-wise, it's fine, but the bagel, not the best. It's gonna find itself in a C tier pretty much just because the bacon and the eggs and the cheese carry it. But yeah, the bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, not super impressive. Up next, we have the McDonald's breakfast burrito. I've had this one a couple times, and honestly, I love breakfast burritos, but the McDonald's breakfast burrito, from my experience, it's just like so small. Like there's just not enough food there for the price that you're paying, which it's not expensive or anything, but it's just not a whole lot of content. You know, my breakfast burritos, I like to stuff those pretty full. Flavor-wise, I think they're really okay. They're not bad. You know, this is the McDonald's list, but if you want good fast food breakfast, I would recommend Taco Bell. I think Taco Bell's breakfast is probably the best part about Taco Bell. So if you want a breakfast burrito, hit up Taco Bell. McDonald's, again, it's decent, but it's just a little bit too small, but flavor-wise, it's still serviceable, and it will find itself up in the B tier. Up next, we have pancakes, or I guess hotcakes, they call them at some locations, but it's pancakes. Honestly, McDonald's, you know, I would never go to McDonald's for pancakes. I've had their pancakes before, but you know, there's just no reason I would really go there. And it's not something you can really take to go and eat. Not something you can eat on the go at all. So you really got to sit down and eat this. But pancakes, I mean, it's pancakes. It's really hard to do pancakes wrong. And at McDonald's, you know, it's the expectable pancakes you're going to get. So I like pancakes, but again, you know, it's nothing really special. Gonna find itself in a B tier. Not bad, but again, nothing special. Up next, we have hash browns. Now I kind of like hash browns, but I'm somebody who I like my hash browns like extra crispy. Like if I'm making them, like those things are gonna be like brown to like almost black in some parts. Like I like my hash browns extra crispy. And the McDonald's ones, I mean, they're just frozen and then I think like microwaved or heated under a light. So really not the best. And you know, like I said, not quite crispy enough for me, not quite done enough for me. They're decent, but usually if I get a McDonald's breakfast item and, you know, it comes with hash browns, usually give it to someone else. Hash browns, they're going to find themselves in a C tier because I'll still eat it. They're okay, but again, I really like my hash browns to be crispy. If they were crispier, they'd probably be like a B or even an A tier. Last but not least, we have the, I think, fruit and maple oatmeal. Honestly, I love oatmeal. I have oatmeal probably 3-4 times a week. But the McDonald's oatmeal is really not great. Even the fruit in there is not the best. The maple flavor is quite pronounced and pretty good, I would say, but the fruit in there, it's not fresh. The oatmeal, it's not great. You know, if you want some good oatmeal, just buy like some Quaker oatmeal, you know, put some water in it, throw it in the microwave, and you're gonna get better oatmeal. So this, honestly, really disappointing. I've only had it once, and I'll probably never have it again. It's overpriced, and it's not great. So unfortunately, the McDonald's oatmeal gonna find itself down in the F tier. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.